Why are you still here? In this place of lack, this space defined by the whisper of not enough. You feel it, don't you? That gnawing ache in the pit of your stomach when the bills arrive. The quiet humiliation when you have to say no again. The frustration simmering beneath the surface as you watch others glide past, seemingly untouched by the gravity that pulls you down, down, down into the mire of financial struggle. You work hard, you sacrifice. You follow the rules you were taught, and yet the ledger remains stubbornly unbalanced. The dream feels perpetually out of reach, a shimmering mirage in a desert of disappointment. You tell yourself stories. Stories about the economy, about bad luck, about the system being rigged, about greedy corporations, about that opportunity you missed, that person who wronged you. You point fingers outwards, searching for a scapegoat in the vast, indifferent world. It's easier that way, isn't it? To believe you're a victim of circumstance, a ship tossed helplessly on a cruel sea of fate. It absolves you. It comforts you momentarily in the cold embrace of resignation. But deep down, in the quietest hours of the night, when the excuses fade and the raw truth surfaces, you know it's something else. It's not luck. Luck is the lazy man's explanation for the other man's success, the convenient excuse whispered by those unwilling to pay the price. Luck is the residue of design, the byproduct of relentless preparation meeting opportunity. The titans you admire, the empires built from dust, the fortunes forged in the fires of adversity, they weren't accidents of fate. They were consequences. Consequences of a particular way of thinking. It's not the system entirely, though systems have their flaws. For every person crushed by a system, another rises above it, bends it, or creates their own. It's not your background, though some start further behind the line. History is littered, gloriously littered, with individuals who defied their origins, who clawed their way from the deepest pits of poverty and obscurity to the highest pinnacles of achievement. Lincoln, born in a log cabin, steering a nation through its darkest hour. Carnegie, arriving penniless from Scotland, building an industrial empire that reshaped the world. Oprah, overcoming trauma and poverty to become a global force of influence and wealth. Were they just lucky? Were they merely beneficiaries of a system suddenly gone soft, or did they possess something else? Something internal. It's not a lack of hard work necessarily. You see people breaking their backs every day, pouring sweat and tears into their labor, yet remaining trapped. Hard work is essential, yes, but undirected, unintelligent, uninspired hard work is merely a hamster wheel, a lot of motion, generating heat and exhaustion, but ultimately going nowhere. The ditch digger works harder, physically, than the architect who designed the skyscraper, yet their rewards are vastly different. Why? The answer, the uncomfortable, undeniable, liberating truth. Is this you are still broke, still struggling, still feeling the suffocating grip of lack, primarily because of the landscape inside your head? It's your mindset. It's the architecture of your thoughts, the foundation of your beliefs, the lens through which you perceive reality, and, crucially, possibility. Your outer world, your financial reality, is a mirror reflecting the state of your inner world. Change the inner and the outer must follow. Not maybe, not hopefully. It must. This is not wishful thinking. It is the fundamental law of cause and effect applied to the realm of human achievement. You live within the confines of a cage you cannot see, taste, or touch, yet it is more real and more restrictive than any prison forged of steel. It is the cage of poverty consciousness, a mindset steeped in limitation, fear, and scarcity. It's a subtle poison seeping into your subconscious, coloring your decisions, sabotaging your efforts, whispering doubt into every ambition. It tells you that wealth is for other people, that big dreams are foolish, that playing it safe is the only sensible path. It teaches you to focus on what you lack, magnifying it, energizing it, until it becomes your dominant reality. It trains you to see obstacles as stop signs, not detours, to view failure as final, not feedback, to envy the successful rather than learn from them. This poverty consciousness isn't always loud or obvious. It's often insidious. It's the "I can't afford it" that slips out before you even consider how you could afford it. It's the flicker of resentment when someone else succeeds. It's the subconscious belief that money is somehow dirty, or that wealthy people are inherently greedy, or unhappy, convenient justifications for not pursuing wealth yourself. It's the chronic procrastination fueled by a fear of failure, or even a fear of success and the responsibility it brings. It's settling for good enough, because great feels impossible undeserved. It's the constant state of worry about losing what little you have, preventing you from taking the calculated risks necessary for gain. Think of your mind as fertile soil. Poverty consciousness plants seeds of doubt, fear, limitation, and envy. And what grows? A garden of lack, a harvest of frustration. You water these weeds daily with negative thoughts, with complaining, with focusing on problems instead of solutions. You fertilize them with inaction, with resignation. And then you wonder why your financial life resembles a barren wasteland. The architects of fortune, the empire builders, the masters of their financial destinies, they understood this. They were obsessive gardeners of their own minds. They ruthlessly weeded out thoughts of limitation. They diligently planted seeds of abundance, faith, possibility, and unwavering purpose. They understood that the external battle for wealth is first won or lost on the internal battlefield of the mind. Andrew Carnegie didn't just stumble upon steel mills. He cultivated a mindset obsessed with efficiency, scale, and contribution on a massive level. Thomas Edison didn't just get lucky with a filament. He possessed a mindset immune to failure, viewing each dead end not as defeat, but as the elimination of one more path that wouldn't work, bringing him closer to the one that would. His laboratory was not just a physical space. It was an extension of a mind committed to relentless experimentation and unwavering belief in a specific outcome. Henry Ford didn't merely build cars. He built them upon a revolutionary mindset focused on mass production, affordability, and putting the world on wheels, a vision so powerful it disregarded conventional wisdom and expert opinion that deemed it impossible. He famously said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." He understood the supreme power of belief, the driving force of mindset. So, the first step, the non-negotiable starting point on the path away from lack, is to confront this internal landscape, to turn the spotlight inward and honestly assess the foundations of your thinking. Are you operating from a place of scarcity or abundance, fear or faith, limitation or possibility? You must become aware of the invisible cage before you can dismantle it. You must recognize the weeds before you can pull them. This requires brutal honesty. It requires courage. It requires acknowledging that your current situation, however unpleasant, is largely a product of your past thinking. Not blame, but responsibility. Responsibility is power. It means if your thinking created this, then new thinking can create something else entirely. This isn't about blaming the victim. It's about empowering the victor within you that has been silenced by years of detrimental conditioning. It's about reclaiming your mental sovereignty. The world bombards you constantly with messages of fear, lack, and limitation through news cycles, through advertising that preys on insecurity, sometimes even through well-meaning but fearful friends and family. Building a wealth consciousness, a mindset geared for abundance and achievement, requires a conscious, deliberate effort to guard the gates of your mind, to choose what you allow in, to actively cultivate the thoughts and beliefs that serve your highest aspirations. Let go of the comforting illusion that external factors hold the ultimate power over your financial destiny. They have influence, yes. They present challenges, absolutely. But the meaning you assign to those factors, the response you choose, the beliefs you hold in the face of them, that is where your true power lies. That is the domain of mindset. And it is in mastering this domain that the keys to the kingdom of abundance are found. The journey out of broke doesn't start with a new job, a lucky break, or a government handout. It starts with a decision to change your mind, a decision to cultivate the mindset of the prosperous, the determined, the architects of their own fate. It starts now, in this moment, with the recognition that the power to change your financial reality resides not out, but in here. A's slight pause, allowing the weight of the statement to land. Visuals shift slightly, perhaps showing a crack of light, a determined expression replacing the worried one. Where does this transformation begin? It begins with the spark that ignites all human achievement, the starting point of all fortunes, large and small. It begins with desire, not mere wishing, not passive hoping, not a fleeting daydream, but a white-hot, burning, all-consuming desire. A desire so intense it transcends obstacle, laughs at impossibility, and fuels relentless action. Think about it. Everything ever created by human hands began as a thought, an intangible impulse fueled by desire. The chair you sit on, the device you're watching this on, the towering buildings that scrape the sky, the symphonies that stir the soul, all were once just ideas, nurtured by the fire of desire in his mind until they took physical form. Wealth, prosperity, financial freedom, these too begin as ideas, as seeds of desire planted in the fertile ground of the mind. But most people miss faint wishes for true desire. They wish they were wealthy. They hope for a better life. They would like to be financially free. This is like wanting a bonfire from a single, flickering matchstick in a rainstorm. It lacks the intensity, the focus, the unwavering heat needed to manifest. A wish is passive. It waits for something external to happen. A burning desire is active. It makes things happen. It is the engine driving the will. Napoleon Hill, after studying over 500 of the most successful individuals of his time, men like Carnegie, Ford, Edison, Rockefeller, declared that a burning desire, backed by faith, was the starting point of all achievement. Not a starting point, but the starting point. He observed that those who accumulated great fortunes first became obsessed with the idea of wealth. They didn't just want it, they intended to have it. Their desire was definite, specific, and unwavering. Look at Edwin C. Barnes. He wasn't born into privilege. He didn't have connections. He barely had the money for a train ticket. But he had something far more valuably burning, unshakable desire to become a business associate of the great inventor Thomas Edison. Not just to work for him, but with him. This desire was so powerful that he traveled across the country, arriving at Edison's laboratory looking like a tramp, yet radiating an intensity, a certainty, that caught the inventor's attention. Edison later said he gave Barnes a chance, not because of his appearance, but because he saw someone who had burned all bridges behind him, who had made up his mind to stand there until he got what he came for. Barnes didn't just wish. He desired with every fiber of his being. He didn't have a backup plan. His only plan was success. And eventually, after years of seemingly menial work, proving his worth and staying laser-focused on his goal, he did become Edison's partner, instrumental in marketing the Ediphone dictating machine, and amassed a fortune. His wealth began not with money, not with opportunity, but with a state of mind, a burning desire turned into reality. What is your burning desire? Not what you think you should want, or what others expect you to want, but what sets your soul on fire. What goal, if achieved, would represent the truest expression of your potential? And crucially, how intense is that desire? Is it a flickering candle, easily snuffed out by the first gust of doubt or difficulty? Or is it a raging furnace that consumes obstacles and fuels persistent action? The poverty consciousness actively works against cultivating this burning desire. It whispers that your dreams are too big, unrealistic, foolish. It encourages you to settle for less, to dim your ambitions, to accept the status quo. It fears the intensity of true desire because that intensity threatens its hold over you. It thrives on vague hopes and lukewarm wishes because these lack the power to create real change. To break free, you must define precisely what you desire. Vague desires produce vague results. I want more money is not a burning desire, it's a flimsy wish. How much money specifically? By what date do you intend to possess it? What are you willing to give in return for it? What specific plan will you put into action to acquire it? These questions transform a vague wish into a definite aim. Writing this down, making it concrete, tangible, visible, this is the first step in crystallizing your desire. This definiteness of purpose acts like a laser beam, concentrating your mental and physical energy. A scattered mind, like scattered sunlight, has little power. But a focused mind, like a focused laser, can cut through steel. When your desire is clear, specific, and burns brightly within you, it begins to reorganize your perception. You start noticing opportunities you were previously blind to. You attract resources and people aligned with your goal. Your subconscious mind goes to work, even while you sleep, seeking ways to bring your desire into reality. Think of Columbus. His desire wasn't just to sail west. It was a burning conviction to reach the East Indies by sailing west, a specific goal that defied the accepted wisdom of his time. His desire was so intense it secured funding from monarchs, rallied a skeptical crew, and sustained him through the terrifying unknown of the Atlantic. His definiteness of purpose, born from burning desire, changed the map of the world. So, ask yourself again, what do you truly desire? Allow yourself to dream, to want. without the immediate filter of how. The how reveals itself later, often in unexpected ways, but only after the what and the why are intensely defined and felt. Fan the flames of that desire. Nurture it. Protect it from the cold winds of doubt and cynicism, both external and internal. Make it the central, motivating force of your life. This burning desire is the fuel. Without it, the engine of achievement remains cold and silent, and the chains of broke remain firmly in place. It is the essential first step in reprogramming your mindset from one of scarcity to one of unwavering, focused, wealth-attracting intent. This desire, this intense, specific longing, is the seed from which all fortunes grow. Plant it deep. Water it with obsession. And prepare for the next crucial step, cultivating the unshakable belief that its fruition is not just possible, but inevitable. Visuals transition, seeds sprouting, blueprints being drawn, determined faces looking towards a horizon. You have planted the seed of burning desire. It is specific, it is intense, it is alive within you. But a seed, even the most potent one, cannot grow in barren rock. It needs fertile soil. In the realm of achievement, that fertile soil is belief. Unshakable, unwavering, absolute belief. Faith, call it what you will, but it is the vital element that quickens your desire, that gives it life and substance, that transforms it from a mere thought form into a magnetic force that draws your goal towards you. Belief is the catalyst. It's the difference between Edwin C. Barnes merely wanting to work with Edison and Barnes knowing he would become his associate. It's the difference between the Wright brothers wishing humans could fly and knowing they could build a machine that would achieve sustained, controlled flight, even as the world scoffed. Belief is the bridge between the intangible realm of thought and the tangible realm of results. The poverty consciousness, your old nemesis, wages war most fiercely on the battlefield of belief. It floods your mind with doubt. This is impossible. You're not smart enough. You don't have the resources. What if you fail? People like you don't get rich. Doubt is the acid that dissolves desire, the frost that kills the sprouting seed. It paralyzes action and ensures the continuation of the status quo, the state of being broke. Why is belief so powerful? Because your beliefs shape your reality. Not in some mystical, abstract way, but in a practical, demonstrable manner. What you truly believe, deep down in your subconscious mind, dictates what you perceive, what you attempt, and how you interpret outcomes. If you fundamentally believe you are unworthy of wealth, you will subconsciously sabotage opportunities that arise. You will interpret temporary setbacks as permanent failures. You will fail to see the open doors because your belief system insists they are walls. Conversely, if you cultivate an unwavering belief in your ability to achieve your desire, your mind becomes attuned to possibilities. You see opportunities where others see obstacles. You interpret setbacks as valuable lessons, fueling your resolve. Your energy, your posture, your communication, everything aligns with your belief, attracting people and circumstances that resonate with that conviction. Henry Ford believed with absolute certainty that he could produce a V8 motor block cast in one piece. His engineers insisted it was impossible. They demonstrated logically and technically why it couldn't be done. Ford's response was simply, produce it anyway. He didn't waver. His belief was stronger than their expert doubt. He kept pushing them, demanding solutions, not explanations of impossibility. And eventually, because Ford believed it was possible, his engineers, driven by his unwavering conviction, found a way. His belief literally forced the impossible into reality. This kind of belief isn't passive hope. It's an active, dynamic force. It is cultivated, strengthened, and programmed into the subconscious mind through the principle of autosuggestion. Autosuggestion is simply the process of influencing your subconscious mind through repeated thoughts, affirmations, and visualizations. Your subconscious mind accepts as true whatever is impressed upon it repeatedly, with feeling and conviction, whether those impressions are positive or negative. For years, perhaps decades, you have likely been feeding your subconscious a steady diet of limitation, fear, and scarcity, reinforcing the poverty consciousness. Now you must consciously, deliberately, counteract this programming. This is where the written statement of your burning desire comes back into play. Read it aloud twice daily upon waking and before sleeping. As you read it, see, feel, and believe yourself already in possession of your goal. Don't just recite words. Infuse them with emotion. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the security of having achieved your desire. Visualize the reality you intend to create. Make it vivid, detailed, sensory. This isn't about deceiving yourself. It's about reprogramming yourself. It's about impressing your desired reality onto the deeper levels of your mind, the part that operates automatically and drives most of your behavior. When your subconscious mind accepts your goal as reality, it will begin to guide you, inspire you, and reveal the steps necessary to achieve it. It works tirelessly, aligning your thoughts, actions, and attracting forces towards the manifestation of that belief. Think of Roger Bannister, the first man to break the 4-minute mile. For decades, the prevailing belief, backed by medical experts, was that the human body was simply not capable of running a mile in under 4 minutes. It was a physiological barrier. Yet, Bannister believed it was possible. He visualized it relentlessly. He trained not just his body, but his mind, saturating it with the belief that he could achieve the impossible. And he did. What's truly fascinating is what happened next. Once Bannister shattered that limiting belief, dozens of other runners broke the 4-minute barrier within the following years. The physical capacity was always there. It was the mental barrier, the collective unbelief that had held them back. Bannister's belief didn't just propel him, it shattered a limiting paradigm for everyone else. Your belief must be equally impervious to negativity and discouragement. There will be doubters. There will be setbacks. The world will test your conviction. People, sometimes those closest to you, operating from their own fear and limitation, will tell you to be realistic, to give up. This is where your cultivated belief becomes your shield and your sword. Shield yourself from their negativity. Use their doubt as fuel for your determination. Remember Barnes facing Edison's initial skepticism. Remember Ford facing his engineer's insistence on impossibility. Remember the Wright brothers ridiculed as fantasists. Their belief was their anchor in the storm of doubt. Cultivating this level of faith requires persistence. It's a mental muscle that grows stronger with exercise. Feed it daily with affirmations, visualization, and by focusing on evidence, however small, that you are moving towards your goal. Starve your doubts by refusing to entertain them, by immediately replacing negative thoughts with positive, faith-filled affirmations. Guard your mind as you would guard a precious treasure, because it is the treasure chest from which all riches flow. When desire is fused with unshakable belief, something magical happens. An inner certainty develops, a quiet confidence that transcends external circumstances. You begin to operate from a place of knowing, not hoping. This deep-seated faith is the powerhouse that drives persistent action, overcomes fear, and magnetizes the resources and opportunities necessary for your success. Without it, desire remains impotent. With it, desire becomes an irresistible force, carving a path through any obstacle, transforming the blueprint of your mind into the tangible reality of abundance. Believe it not because someone told you to, but because you understand it is the fundamental prerequisite for changing your financial destiny. Believe it and act as if it were impossible to fail. Visuals shifting focus on intricate details, architectural plans coming together, a compass needle pointing firmly north. A clear pathway emerging from fog, desire provides the fuel. Belief provides the engine's ignition. But even a fueled, ignited engine needs direction. It needs a map, a steering wheel, a clear destination. Otherwise, all that power leads to chaos, wasted energy, and ultimately frustration. This is where clarity enters the equation, the architect of your financial future. Clarity, born from specialized knowledge and organized planning, transforms burning desire and unwavering belief into a practical, actionable strategy. Being broke often stems from a state of profound confusion. Confusion about what you truly want, beyond just not being broken. Confusion about your own strengths and how to leverage them. Confusion about the steps needed to bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. This mental fog keeps you stuck, oscillating between half-hearted efforts, chasing fleeting opportunities, and ultimately making little consistent progress. The poverty consciousness thrives in this fog, whispering that things are too complex, too overwhelming, that you don't know where to start. Clarity cuts through the fog like a searchlight. It demands specifics. It requires you to move beyond the emotional intensity of desire and belief into the logical, practical realm of planning. Napoleon Hill emphasized that desire, to be transmuted into its monetary equivalent, must be backed by definite plans through which transformation may be made. He didn't say vague ideas or general intentions. He said definite plans. This starts with acquiring specialized knowledge. General knowledge taught in schools rarely leads to significant wealth. Accumulating fortunes requires specialized knowledge related to the field, profession, or business through which you intend to achieve your financial goals. You don't need to possess all this knowledge initially yourself. Andrew Carnegie knew very little about the technical processes of steel manufacturing, but he surrounded himself with men who did possess that knowledge. He knew how to acquire knowledge, organize it, and direct it towards a specific end. Identify the specialized knowledge crucial for achieving your definite chief aim. Where can you acquire it? Through formal education, through specialized courses or training, through mentorship, through practical experience, through books, seminars, masterminds. The sources are abundant in today's information age, but you must actively seek them out. Become a perpetual student in your chosen field. Develop expertise. Understand the nuances, the challenges, the opportunities. This knowledge forms the bedrock of your plan. Ignorance is not bliss in the pursuit of wealth. Ignorance is expensive. It leads to costly mistakes, missed opportunities, and vulnerability to manipulation. Once you begin acquiring this knowledge, the next step is organized planning. Your desire, belief, and knowledge must be woven into a coherent practical plan or series of plans. How specifically will you render the service, deliver the product, or create the value that will generate the income you desire? What are the concrete steps involved? What resources will you need? Who do you need on your team, your mastermind alliance, which we'll touch upon? What is the timeline? Your initial plans may not be perfect. In fact, they almost certainly won't be. Hill stressed that if the first plan you adopt does not work successfully, replace it with a new plan. If this new plan fails to work, replace it in turn with still another, and so on until you find a plan which does work. The key is persistence in planning, adapting, and refining. Failure to find a workable plan is often mistaken for failure of the goal itself, leading people to give up just short of success. But the goal, fueled by desire and belief, remains constant. The plans are flexible, adaptable tools.